another great weekend in college football here on ATL Prime Sports. I learned one thing: never, ever, ever bet against Alabama and Nick Saban ever again. Darth Vader strikes again. He strikes in this area. He was downtown striking everything in sight. They destroyed the Georgia Bulldogs, and we'll see if Georgia gets another shot at Alabama in the college football playoff. Before they do that, though, the Georgia Bulldogs are going to play the Michigan Wolverines in the Orange Bowl on New Year's Eve in Miami, Florida. And, of course, Alabama will take on Cincinnati in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. So just let everybody know I'm Todd Corder. JJ's on the other side of Atlanta. And Wayne, our producer, is in Memphis, Tennessee. Our guest this evening is Dr. Sapp, a Michigan football historian, video blogger. And if you look on like College Game Day, you look at the archives right before they played Michigan and Ohio State, it'll say it'll have a right there on the line. It'll talk about Dr. Sapp in the archives, and they received videos from him. And also, before we go on, we'll have to ask Dr. Sapp this before we get started, but I don't know where he's going to get videos between Michigan and Georgia, because they've only played in their history one time in 1965. That was Vince Dooley's second year in Athens, and I know JJ knows this. Georgia won 15-7 in Ann Arbor. It was the only meeting, and they had a huge party at the airport in Athens after the game. This was pre-Schembechler, so if Dr. Sapp can get some archives on that, I'll be really impressed. So anyhow, guys, before we bring Dr. Sapp on, how was your weekend, and did you enjoy the football? I know, JJ, you probably did not.
No, absolutely. I enjoyed the football. I mean, if you would have told me Stetson Bennett was going to throw for 340-plus yards, I would have told you Georgia was going to win the football game. 2 costly turnovers. Georgia played with Alabama right there the whole game. They tied them up late in the second quarter. So, no, I enjoyed the football game vastly. It was a 2-possession game until the very end. Georgia had a record-setting performance from tight end Brock Bowers. About the only bright spot on the Georgia offense. George Pickens had a couple catches for 40-plus yards. No, I enjoyed myself. It was a great football game, very competitive, and Georgia had a mulligan. They get to play Michigan in the college football playoffs, as you already mentioned. So I'm doing pretty good.
They do get a mulligan. I like that. So, Wayne, your Memphis Tigers are going to Hawaii. I'm sorry your son doesn't get to go being part of the band, but at least you'll have them for the holidays.
Yeah. And the only disappointing thing this weekend for me was the Memphis basketball dropping its 3rd in a row to Ole Miss in a heartbreaker down there in Oxford.
Yes, that was a heartbreaker, and they also lost to Georgia. So, guys, let's go ahead and let everybody know how they can reach us. They can reach all of us at ATL Prime Sports, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. They can get a hold of JJ at Get You One, Wayne at RWI Jr., myself at Corder Todd. And also, we'll bring our guest on, Dr. Sapp. You can get a hold of him on Twitter. Guys, I can't believe how good this stuff is on Twitter. When he was on last week, I just can't get enough of it. Everybody go to his account, Dr. Sapp 4UM, and check out the history that's on his Twitter page. It is absolutely fabulous. I can't get enough of it. I check it out every day. Just the history of Michigan football. It's incredible. I cannot wait until this second matchup in the history of Georgia and Michigan. I cannot wait to it'll happen on New Year's Eve, and I can't wait. Dr. Sapp, I couldn't wait for you to come on today. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me back. And, yeah, before we get too far into it, right, I mean, I got to correct you there, Todd. Michigan,
the third
the Wolves, and the Dogs have played twice. 57 and 65. So 57, Michigan won 26-0, and then like you said, in 65, Georgia 15-7. So you know what, Todd? I actually think I have film from these two games. I'm going to go into the archives this week, and I'm going to see if I can pull up a few touchdowns, and I'll put that on my Twitter page, maybe even on my YouTube channel. And that'll be a treat for everybody because I'm not sure that there's a lot of people that remember those two games.
You know what? When I knew they had met so many times, and I think JJ knew the answer of 57 too, but I didn't know it because Tony Barnhart, I retweeted it from him on Twitter today. Mark Schlabach on ESPN, who is a Georgia graduate. Neither one of them mentioned 1957, and I saw you just text me, and wow.
Well, you know
Ann
what?
Arbor, too, and 84,000 attended that game on October 5th of 1957, correct?
I'm sure the people in Athens want to forget about that game.
26-0.
Maybe that's why Tony Barnhart and Mark Schlabach didn't put it on there.
But I do got to tell you, listen, if you learned anything else this weekend besides the fact that Nick Saban likes rat poison, it's what I tweeted out earlier in the week, and I talked about it with you guys last week, right? It's the kiss of death. It's the unofficial Dr. Sapp kiss of death. First team to kick a field goal loses. And as soon as Georgia kicked that field goal, I told my buddies I was watching the game with, I said, it's game over. And they said, what are you talking about?
Dr. Sapp.
I'm sorry.
Dr. Sapp, I got to stop you right there because I thought of you immediately once that happened. Damn it.
You know, it's about touchdowns now. You just left 4 points on the field. I mean, you can't. You have to match point per point. And as soon as you lose that serve, you're chasing points. And then you just left 4 on the field. You kick another field goal. Now you've left 8. And now you're playing catch up. Now you got to get out of your offense. Now you can't run a balanced offense. Yes, you guys have a stud tight end. Love the guy. Can't believe he's a freshman. But even when Bama knew you guys were going to throw him the ball, he still got the ball. But, yeah, I mean, you can't kick a field goal. It's not about field goals.
You know what?
And Iowa did it. And Iowa did it. As soon as Iowa did it, and I thought, game over. Game over.
The kiss of death. Well, you know what? The final score between Michigan and Iowa was 42-3. It was Michigan's first Big Ten title since 2004. They split it ironically with Iowa, the first outright Big Ten title since 2003, and it was the second time in program win with 12 wins, and the other one we all know was 1997. So Michigan
one more.
Apparent.
1903, Fielding Yost. So
was it 1903 they won 12 games too?
Yeah, I'm going to double check my records, but I believe that's what it was. I'm going to do it right now while we're on the phone here. Hold on 1 second here.
Good Lord, I'm making all kinds of errors here. I feel like a bad baseball team in October in the World Series. So I can't catch up the hot corner.
They were 1905 they were 12-1. 1903 they were 11-0-1. So 12 wins in 1905. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm telling you, JJ, I can't catch. The balls are coming at me at a hot corner. I need Austin Riley to take over for me at third base immediately because this guy catches everything.
Well, you know what? The mood around here was. The joke around here is everybody says we're sacrificing all of our teams so the Braves can win the World Series. So maybe that's what's happening here. I don't know.
we all need Austin Riley right now. He catches everything and he hits everything. And right now, I'm not catching a thing, and I'm not sure if I'm hitting anything either. So anyway, let's go ahead and go into, Dr. Sapp, the game was fabulous from Michigan's standpoint. I did have one concern. If it wasn't for the 2 trick plays in the first half, this game might have been a lot tighter. And Michigan did pull away in the fourth quarter. But I tell you what, it wasn't Michigan's best performance. And if they play like that against Georgia, I don't think they'll beat them. They're going to have have to play they did against Ohio State and come off that football a little bit better on the offensive line, and also be able to mix it up with play action pass and some potential trick plays because they've been doing it all year. What did you see on Saturday? Because that was definitely a little bit of concern. You don't want to start off slow against Georgia. They started off fast in all their games this year, and they were even up 10-0 on Alabama.
Yeah, I agree with you, Todd. I mean, a little bit of a hangover for sure. Michigan came out, a little sluggish, 3-0 on their first possession and that. But you're right. I mean, they have to play their best game. They got to play like they did against Ohio State. But to be frank with you, Todd, I mean, it's going to be tough to move that D line of Georgia. I mean, those are some big bodies down there. And I think it's going to be like what Joel Klatt said on the broadcast, on Saturday night. It's these body blows. You got to keep trying. You got to keep, hitting that body bag and try and wear the D line out because, good gosh, those are some big guys there. And I don't know that Michigan can run it. So then to your point, do you go over top of that defense? And that'll be interesting to see if McNamara can hit those passes against the Georgia secondary.
You know what? Speaking of McNamara, Michigan's got a quarterback that's a 5-star guy in J.J. McCarthy. Maybe this is the guy they use a little bit more in the game because, Bryce Young just tore Alabama up. McCarthy moves around like Bryce Young does. He can run it. He can throw it. He's got a tremendous arm, but he hasn't played near as many snaps because he's been a backup quarterback. He gets into the game like Bryce Young, so maybe they use him a little bit more, Dr. Sapp. Because they're going to have 3 weeks to prepare. This will be an extra wrinkle.
Yeah, I think you're right, Todd. I think he's the X factor. How much does he play? Because he does give you that added element of running with the ball, and he makes the defense account for him, and that's a big difference for when they scheme against the Michigan offense. If you have to account for the quarterback running the ball, you got to change up how you play, and I think Michigan will do that. I think you'll see him play a little bit more. He's young. He's a true freshman. He's not like Bryce Young where he's a redshirt. He's had a chance to watch, Mac Jones do it. I mean, he's kind of learning on the fly. And, obviously I think next year he's an even better quarterback. But right now he needs to step up, and he could be the difference. You're right, Todd. He could be the difference at the end of the month.
You're listening to Dr. Sapp right here on ATL Prime Sports, the U of M football historian, in my opinion. You can find him on Twitter at Dr. Sapp, the number 4 UM. Dr. Sapp, I want to talk to you about a couple storylines going into the Orange Bowl, and then I want to get a comment. So it's kind of a two-parter. The first comment is Jim Harbaugh, man, what a saint, giving $2 million back of his incentives to the University of Michigan Athletic Department. Your comments on that? And I think it's a unique storyline. Jim Harbaugh, Tom Crean, brother-in-laws, basketball coach, head coach at the University of Michigan for football, and Jim Harbaugh. Your comments on some other storylines that are unique to Georgia, Michigan. Those 2 questions for you, Dr. Sapp.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's, Jim Harbaugh, for those of you who don't really know him that well, he's a guy who he likes to bet on himself, right? It's kind of like that line from that Captain America movie where, he's, I can do this all day, right? And he'll take that. He'll take the pounding because he knows what kind of intestinal fortitude he has. And that's what he did. He counted on himself when he had that discussion with the Michigan athletic director, and they talked about, restructuring his contract. And he was okay with them basically slicing his pay in half and making it all incentive laden because he bet on himself. And when I saw that he did that, I thought this is like the Jim Harbaugh in 1986 who made the guarantee over Ohio State. I mean, he is feeling that confident, not just about himself and his coaches, but his players and his team. I think he knew back then. And he kind of alluded to it because they asked him, when did you think you could run on Ohio State? And he said, I kind of knew that back in spring ball. Like, I think he knew what he had back then. And that, when all these coaches are out there, grabbing the money bag, it's all about the money for them. Jim's a refreshing story on that. So that's nice to see in this day and age of everybody just jumping for money. And, the Tom Crean thing, yeah. So Tom married Jim's sister, Joni. And, they've got a great relationship, right? They're all coaches, Jim, John, and Tom. And, I think it's the whole thing of, he's a classic supporter of the family, but I'm sure he's, I don't know if he's going to be pulling. I'm guessing he's pulling for the Dogs this game. I don't know. I'm sure you would have to ask him, but yeah, they have a great relationship, and because he spent some time in Indiana, so obviously that came up a few times in their careers. But I'm excited. I'm excited for this matchup. I've always wanted Michigan to come down to Athens, play between the hedges or whatever. I wanted them to go down there, and it's just never happened. But I'm thrilled for this matchup. I'm thrilled that it's in Miami. I'm going to see if I can call in a few favors and maybe make it down to the game. That would be really exciting for me.
One for me. Just kidding. So, you talked about the money back. If Harbaugh wins one game, if he happens to win each one and they win it all, I think he's going to get a raise and he's going to get the money back and then some. And the second one is my X factor from the Georgia side of the field is Stetson Bennett. I listen to the media all day today, just kill this kid. He threw 2 interceptions. They didn't talk about the fact he threw for 340. He made a lot of really good plays down the field. They criticized Kirby Smart, saying he should have put in Daniels in the fourth quarter. Look, the media's not there every day in practice. They're not there. They're not watching Stetson Bennett beat out JT Daniels or the reps. They're not watching Stetson Bennett do all the little things in practice to get ready for these games. Kirby Smart and his staff are there assessing it, and they know exactly what they're doing. And I just can't, it's amazing. When you lose, you're going to get killed no matter who you are. You're the worst coach in the world. And if you win, you're the best coach. And I really think it's unfair to Kirby Smart and them. They've got a mulligan. And, the team that has lost the SEC championship game has turned around, and they end up winning the whole thing. And now Alabama's the big favorite. Well, they're going to get the rat poison now because they're going to be talked about how great they are for the next 3 weeks until they play Cincinnati. Where last week Georgia was talked about how great they were, and Nick Saban said to the media, "You gave me the rat poison this time, and it was yummy." So now Georgia's going to get the yummy rat poison. So Stetson Bennett, and I expect Georgia to turn this thing around, and I expect the Michigan-Georgia game to be a Donnybrook, and that's why I expect Stetson Bennett to be the X factor. Your thoughts?
I was going to ask you guys, what's the mood down there? I mean, is there disappointment in the sense that you guys aren't getting them rematch right off the bat? And, obviously you're hoping for the rematch in the national championship game in Indianapolis, but is there disappointment that you're playing Michigan and not Bama again?
JJ, answer that.
Honestly, I think I was one of the few that wanted the rematch right away. I didn't want to, as a fan, this is strictly as a fan speaking. I kind of wanted the rematch to go right now. Just let's go ahead and play again back to back. But in hindsight, I think it's kind of good for college football to have the rematch. Georgia and Michigan are arguably the 2A and 2B and best teams in the country. I definitely think you got your 4 best teams in, no doubt about it. And I think the mood down here, Dr. Sapp, is more along the lines of, can we just get over the hump? I feel like if Georgia can just get over the hump of Alabama, maybe 2 or 3 national championships will come right behind it. And Mike Griffin of the AJC and Dog Nation shares my exact same opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, that team is impressive. I've looked at them all year, and I just thought, my gosh, that's one of the most athletically gifted teams I've seen, seriously, in all my 40-plus years of watching, college football. Seriously, I'm just so impressed with the Bulldogs, and then to see them, play the way they did against Alabama, maybe it was just a schematic thing that Saban had, conjured up, or maybe, the Dogs were just flat. Either way, right, you got to give Bryce Young credit for doing what he did, but I just don't see Georgia turning in another performance like that again against Michigan. I think, they're going to give Michigan their best shot, and seriously, I can't wait for this game to happen. I can't. I'm so excited for it. We'll see. You guys talk about other storylines. I don't know if you're all into numbers or numerology, right? But the 42-3 score, right? Michigan. I don't know if you guys heard, but Coach Harbaugh reaches out to the Oxford High School coach there in Michigan where those students were killed, and he asked them if they could honor the students by putting a patch on the jerseys and a helmet sticker on the helmets, and the coach said yes. And the one player, the one student who was a football player, he was number 42, right? And then there were 3 other students that were, tragically killed, right? So to see that score 42-3 was just pretty, it sent a chill down your spines. And evidently now Michigan, I guess they've asked the school, they're going to keep the patch on for the remainder of the playoffs. So that's, they don't want that, I don't want to say that story, but they don't want, this to be forgotten. And I think that's
well said. And, for me, being a Michigan alumnus, and me being here for 31 years, and JJ and I have known each other a long time. He's a Georgia guy. We've been waiting for this matchup forever, and I can't wait, and I'm ready for it too, but I'm also ready for the respect that these schools have for each other. I'm ready for a clean game to be played, which I know it will be, number one. And number two, I think each team is going to play their A-plus game. Where Michigan didn't have an A-plus game against Iowa, it might have been B-. And I'm waiting for Georgia to play their A-plus game because they surely didn't play it against Alabama. And the mood for me, when JJ responded, was I think the mood here is just disappointment that they didn't get over the hump. But here's the thing. They may get another shot. They may not. A lot of the media wanted Michigan at 1, so we wouldn't have the rematch in a potential championship game. And to me, I think they got the setting correct. They showed the difference between Michigan and 1 and 2, between them and Alabama. I think it's correct. I think this is the way it's going to be. Whoever wins, it's going to be one on the field. Any team's going to have to win 2 games as it is. So, if it's about Alabama and Georgia in the final, so be it. If it's Michigan and Alabama in the final, so be it. If it's Cincinnati and Georgia in the final, so be it. And if it's Cincinnati and Michigan in the final, so be it. May the best teams win. Dr. Sapp, we're out of time. Thanks a lot for joining us. I'm not sure. We're having another show later this week, but I'm not sure if we're having a show close to the game. I've got to go out of town. I got to broadcast the hockey tournament in Minneapolis, and also have to go for a graduation for my son out of town. So I don't know if we're going to do a show. I don't know if the guys are, but if they do, we need to bring you back on. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for mentioning everything you mentioned today. And also, the Detroit Lions, they got off the schneid. They won. They had the Oxford stickers on the back of their helmet. You saw Coach Campbell. He was wearing the high school Oxford football hat during the Lions and Vikings game. And it was poetic that the Lions won it on the last play. Thanks so much for coming on, and we'll be talking to you in the future. And everybody, once again, go here on his Twitter feed, Dr. Sapp for U of M, and check out his information because it's absolutely incredible. And I can't wait till you find the footage for Georgia and Michigan. Thanks for coming on again.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Wow, guys. JJ, I bet, as a Georgia guy, you are really looking forward to this footage. I mean, this is
it'll be really interesting. I knew they had played twice before. I didn't think there would be footage from both games. So that's going to be cool to look at Dr. Sapp's Twitter. Again, Dr. Sapp, the number 4, UM on Twitter. And look at his University of Michigan football historian videos. They're absolutely wonderful. I can't wait to see the Georgia leather helmets back in the day and the skinny face masks. And it's going to be a real time machine.
Time machine. That's a really good word. I like that. Time machine. And I wish I could fast forward the time machine and watch them play. Guys, did you want to talk about the other game? Before we get to it, the other playoff game, there are so many good bowl games, if you don't mind me saying. The playoff, the playoff just, it just takes But if you take a look at some of these bowl matchups, they're incredible. And maybe we'll do on Wednesday. We are going to be live on Blog Talk with David Walker of the Rebel Walk, former Texas A&M quarterback. We'll talk about these other bowl matches. We'll save that for Wednesday. We'll talk about the other bowl matchups because, honestly, the rest of the games are not getting the coverage they deserve. And there's so many great bowl matchups, and I can't wait to talk to that. So you guys just want to do you want to preview the other playoff game? Is that what you want to do?
We could talk about some of the other bowl games and just mention that. I mean, we can go whatever. But I'll tell you, I'll give you one of my non-college football playoff games that I'm looking forward to.
Go ahead. I want to hear it. I want to hear yours.
And I tell you, I think one of the low-key good football games you are going to see is the SEC Big Ten matchup. There's two of them. You're going to have Tennessee and Purdue in the Music City Bowl. And I believe Iowa and Kentucky are playing each other in the Citrus Bowl, the Citrus Bowl. And those are my two that aren't college football playoff games that are going to be just, I think, memorable games.
You're right. Penn State, you said Penn State plays
I said Iowa and Kentucky in the Citrus Bowl, but Penn State, Arkansas is another one in the Outback Bowl. And then I said the other battle of SEC Big Ten is Tennessee and Purdue should be a really good one in the Music City Bowl in your state, Wayne.
That is just awesome. I mean, we have 4 SEC Big Ten matchups, arguably the 2 best conferences in the United States of America. And, JJ, we have one here locally. You and I mentioned it the other day. I can't wait for Pitt and Michigan State. Michigan State's pass defense is one of the worst in the country, and they're going to face Heisman Trophy quarterback Kenny Pickett, who is a Heisman finalist, along with Michigan defense in Aiden Hutchinson, Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, and Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud.
Very good game.
That's down in the Peach Bowl down in Atlanta. I looked at tickets today, guys. They're like $48. Where, you go to the playoff game, you're going to pay $100, huh?
And actually, there's a promo going on 93.7 where if you buy Peach Bowl tickets this year, folks, and go check out 93.7, 680 The Fan, you can download their app. I heard it. If you buy Peach Bowl tickets this year, you get the semifinal next year at the same price. So go look at that. Don't like to shout out other stations, but it's a pretty cool promo.
So you shouted it out because here's the deal, man. I think they're going to be hard pressed to sell that game out because there's no Southern team in the bowl game.
Correct. It'll be a great game, though.
Well, usually you get one Southern team in the Peach Bowl, or you get 2 of them. Now you don't get none. You don't get
Georgia
none.
And Alabama were both in the playoff. Correct.
I can't say that in the North. I can say you don't get none in the South. I can't say it up North, so I'm cheating. Wayne, who's your bowl game you're looking forward to, pal?
Well, I've got 2 of them, and I'll bet you can guess what they are. One of them is the Hawaii Bowl, and the other one is the Birmingham Bowl.
I'll tell you
Good
what.
picks.
If I got to go to Hawaii and watch Memphis play, I'd look forward to that bowl first. That's right. Georgia State is playing on Christmas Day. Dave Cohen, who's been a guest a million times on our show, is going to be working on Christmas this year. And I sent him a text and I said, "You got your Christmas present from the Panthers recently?" And he said, "Yes, I did." So that's pretty cool. All right, guys. You guys, what do you want to do next? Do you want to do the 6-pack? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and get into the pick six, shall we? And wish everybody a happy holidays, of course, right here from us to you guys. I just want to get that off my chest. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and we may be back one more time before the New Year's up.
I think we'll be on Wednesday live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Blog Talk Radio, 1-347-205-9631. We'll be talking college football with David Walker of the Rebel Walk. So please join us on Wednesday at 11 a.m. And I'm sure we'll have another show after that. Maybe we'll get one in early next week. JJ, take it away with a pick six and tell everybody you're winning.
Guys, what a week last week. It was arguably our 3 combined best weeks. TC and Wayne, you both took the cake, tied at 4-2. I went 3-3, held my ground. Overall, that brings me to 39-44 and the 1 push. That's Todd in third place at 35-48-1, and Wayne 1 game ahead in second at 36-47-1, going into one of the last pick sixes of the year. Let's do it. We have 1 college game, the Army-Navy game, the baddest rivalry of them all, if you ask this guy. 1 college, 5 pro, pick 6 spreads from Monday. Let's go ahead and go. Army-Navy 8-3 at 3-8. Game is at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Army's a 7.5-point favorite, over under 35. We'll go Wayne, TC, myself.
Well, I am going to have to pick Navy.
Ooh.
This one.
Well, my son, I'm not going against his team, the Army. I've got Army to cover, even though a lot of times this game it usually ends up not covering. I'll say it'll cover this year in Philadelphia. What about you, JJ?
I'm taking Army. They're the second best rushing offense in the country. Look, their offense has teed it off this season. They got in a shootout and lost with I can't remember who. But Army's scored some great points this year. Army's defense is top 40. Their offense is top 40. A win gets them the old Commander-in-Chief trophy. I'm going Army, and they cover. The NFL game, Steelers 6-5-1 at Vikings 5-7. Minnesota's a 3-point favorite. The over-under in this game is 45. And folks, remember, we do go by Monday spreads. This is Thursday Night Football. Wayne, go ahead.
Well, I know better than to pick the Vikings, so I'm going to have to pick the Steelers on this one.
Come on now. You know, Minnesota's coming off that wonderful performance against the Lions. That did make me smile. I've got a good friend of mine that is an Iowa fan and a Vikings fan, and I went 2-0 against them this weekend. And there's no way I'm not picking against my wife's Steelers. That's a 3-point. The Vikings are a 3-point favorite. I'm going
3-point home favorite.
I'm going Pittsburgh, baby.
I'm going with the Vikings to cover. Look, the Vikings have been a very, very interesting team if you've been paying attention. They've won 2, lost 2. They've won 2, and they've currently on a 2-game losing streak. I like them to get back on that 2-game winning streak, Schnod. They get the win against Pittsburgh and their weak defense. So give me the Vikings to cover. We'll go to our second NFL game.
Hey, JJ, can I ask you something real quick? Tell you something. Sure. Each team has one thing in common. The Steelers tied the Lions. The Vikings lost to them. And that Steelers defense played really well last week against the Ravens. We'll see if that continues. I'm sorry. Go ahead, my brother.
No, that's a very good point. These teams are winless against the Lions. That's a great point. I'm really glad you said that. That's kind of hard to do. Anyway, Falcons 5-7, Panthers 5-7. This is a playoff battle, folks. Whoever loses this one's probably on the outside looking in for the rest of the season. Carolina, again, a 3-point home favorite. Over-under in this one's 43. Wayne, TC, me.
Falcons and the points. I'm always going to pick the
that
Falcons.
was coming.
Well, the Falcons are the biggest enigma in the NFL. God, this is 3 at Carolina. Common sense tells me go Carolina, but the Falcons play better on the road than they do at home. So I'm going to say, the hell with common sense, I'll take Atlanta.
Well, I'm going with the Panthers. Here's why. I think that defense is better than the Falcons' offense. I can't go with anything. The Falcons have let me down every time I picked them, and every time I picked against them, well, they won the game. So I'm kind of hoping maybe I get the best of both worlds. Falcons have lost 3 of 4. Panthers fired offensive coordinator Joe Brady earlier this week. Maybe the offense gets going with the new play caller. I'm taking Carolina's defense to cover. We'll go to the Ravens-Browns game, which I think is one of the best games of the weekend. 8-4 Ravens, 6-6 Browns. Cleveland, a 2-point favorite at home. Over/under on this one's 42 and a hook. Wayne, TC, me.
Well, in this one, I'm going to have to take the Cowboys because, I think they're going to cover.
Okay, so you got one game ahead there, Wayne.
Dadgummit.
On the Ravens-Browns.
All right, then I'm picking the Ravens. How about that?
I like it. Well, we know who you're going with next.
Yeah, I guess I do.
I'm going to go with the Ravens. They should have won that game against Pittsburgh. I love that John Harbaugh went for two, even though they didn't get it. They're injury prone in the secondary, but they're playing the second best enigma in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns. And you know what? Had Lamar Jackson made a good pass, the Ravens would have won that game. I'll take the Ravens, JJ.
Hey, I like your thinking. Both teams are statistically similar. 23 points a game for the Ravens, 21 points a game for the Browns. You flip it on the defensive side of the ball. Ravens have only given up 21 points a game. Browns are right around 22. Browns in the home field advantage is what I'm going with, as they are 4-2 at Cleveland. I'm taking the Browns as they cover. Folks, if you've noticed, if you've been keeping up, I'm going all favorites till the very end. That's a little preview of what's next. We already know Cowboys for Wayne. Cowboys are 8-4. Washington 6-6. This is a big NFC East battle. Dallas is a 5-point road favorite. The over/under in this one's 49. Wayne went Cowboys. TC, what you got?
Wayne went Cowboys. That's right. He jumped the gun like a Cowboy should. There's no way in hell I'm taking Washington. Give me Dallas all day long. How about them Cowboys at 8-4?
Yeah, I got the Cowboys too. Look, Washington has won 4 straight. Tyler Heineke's playing pretty good ball. I saw somewhere for every win, he gets a pretty good bonus. He's made himself $500,000 over these 4 wins. So, Craig, congratulations. Streak stops here. Dallas offense is one of the best in the NFL. That's actually third best in the league at 29 points per game. Dallas covers. Our final game of the Pick Six, Bills. They're playing on Monday Night Football, so we'll have the record updated. Buccaneers at 9-3. Tampa Bay's a 3.5-point favorite. The over/under in this one is 53. Wayne, Todd, myself, what you got?
I've got a feeling Buffalo's gonna beat the Buccaneers.
Should be going to the Super Bowl, but close enough.
Wayne, you got the Bills. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. TC, what you got?
Hey, circling it against Tom Brady. I can say ain't the South. Give me the Buccaneers.
Give me the Buccaneers. Not for me, not so fast. I'm saying Lee Corso. I'm going with the Bills. Why? They got one of the better defenses in the NFL. Around 16 points a game they're giving up. The Bucs owe around 31 points per game. I say defense prevails. Tom Brady's used to that cold weather up there, so one's got to give. Look, Bills are going to the warm weather, I should say. Defense travels. I like the Bills. That's my only upset of the week. Everything else has been favorites.
You're just
so
trying
it's
to add that lead because you're ahead of us. You're playing it safe down the stretch.
I'm still picking to win. I'm still picking to win, folks.
Hey, I played it safe last week with Georgia. Drank the rat poison. It was yucky, not yummy. And you guys know Ryan, who's been on our show, Ryan Fowler. You guys know him. He's been on our show. He does that talk show out there in Tuscaloosa. You guys know him. Well, last week, I said Ryan C. Fowler. He's we'll promote it. He's on the game 10,009 Monday to Friday 2 to 6 on the Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa. He's a Heisman voter, big Alabama guy. Well, I had the nerve to tweet out last week the Dogs were going to win, and I did. You know what? I told him I was dead wrong. I'd never pick against Nick Saban and Alabama again. tweeted out today, and everybody and their mother from Alabama let me know, don't ever do it again. I got mobbed by the Twitter mob. It was hysterical. And I'm like, I waved the white flag. I'm out. I'm never doing it again. So anyhow, guys, it was a great show today. We'll talk more about the Alabama-Cincinnati matchup on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with our guest David Walker of the Rebel Walk. He'll come on. We'll talk about the other bowl games. I'm sure he's going to want to mention Michigan and Georgia, too. That phone number will be 1-347-205-9631, blogtalkradio.com. Join us in. Guys, I really enjoyed the show. A lot of laughs tonight, and thanks so much.
Yeah, guys, I enjoyed it as well. I want to say happy holidays and Merry Christmas from ATL Prime Sports to you and your household. Everybody have a good, safe holiday. Wayne, what you got?
Hey, just Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll be back on the video show before the end of the year, but after Christmas.
And guess what? We may also talk about that coaching carousel twirling around with David on Wednesday also. As you guys know, Mario Cristobal went from Oregon to the University of Miami. Manny Diaz was let go. Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator from Clemson, went to the University of Oklahoma. We'll talk more about that on Wednesday also. Have a great couple of days. We'll talk to you live at 11 a.m. Take care, everybody.
2-1.